good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm really excited to see we have attendees from all around the world today. My name is Vlada Sakara. I'm a product marketing manager at WiZ. I'll be your host today, and I'm really excited to welcome you to this WiZ Digital event. Today, we will learn all about WiZ's new breakthrough innovations, but I'll tell you more about that in a minute. First, let us introduce the speakers. Today with us, we have Danny, Head of Product Management at WiZ. Hi, Danny. We have Nicola, Software Product Manager at WiZ. Hey, Nick. And Joe, Hardware Product Manager at WiZ. Hello, Joe. Thank you all for being here, and especially as Nicola and Joe are joining us all the way from Hong Kong and Shanghai, where it's actually almost midnight. Thanks for being here, guys. In a moment, we'll get to the exciting part, but before that, just a couple of practical details. So the embargo for today's news lifts on 12th of May at 9 a.m. CET or 3 a.m. EST, and we thank you in advance for sticking to it. If you have any questions, which we hope you do, please type them in the Q&A chat box. And also, we always appreciate your feedback. So please rate our event via the link in the chat box. Thanks in advance. And now, let's get to it. Danny, I'm handing it to you, but before that, let's watch a short video just to get a taste of the news that's coming. Enjoy.
All right, thank you very much, Vlada. Very good introduction, and of course, I hope you all enjoyed the quick sneak preview that we just gave to what we're introducing to you here today, which is, as you can see, WiZ Home Monitoring. As a lighting company, we strongly believe that lights can play a very important role in making you help feel safe in your own home. And that is what we're trying to bring to the market here today, and that's what we're trying to tell you about here today. Now, of course, as a lighting company, we sat down first and tried to think about what does it actually mean to feel safe in your own home? What does the home monitoring journey actually look like? And we came up with this model that you see on the slide here. It starts with prevention, right? Because preventing is better than curing. And lights can play an incredibly important role in the prevention step of the home monitoring journey. If you have your lights on, it'll hopefully deter some people and make sure that they don't do anything that they're not supposed to be doing. But also, we can use things like presence simulation, which will turn on and off all of the lights in your home to pretend like there's someone home even when there's no one there. Now, if the prevention step fails, we need to be able to detect it, right? And of course, some of the products that we have in our portfolio already can be very helpful with that. We have motion sensors that we use to turn on the lights when you enter a room. Of course, these can also be used to detect people when they aren't supposed to be there. On top of that, we have SpaceSense, which is a technology that we introduced in October of last year, which uses Wi-Fi signals to do pretty much the same thing as classic motion sensors. And so the combination of these two makes us very well positioned to have a very effective solution for everything that relates to the detection step. Once something is detected, you want to get notified of that, right? So, of course, the system will need to send you a notification whether something was detected through SpaceSense or through a motion sensor. The system will send you a notification that will alert you whenever something happens that isn't supposed to happen. Now, when you get that notification, it would be very scary if you aren't able to verify that, right? So the verification step is incredibly important. And that's why we've added a couple of new products to our portfolio that are specifically designed to help with the verification step. More on that later. Lastly, there's deterrence. And here again, lights can play a huge role. If someone is in your home and they're not supposed to be there, you can do things like turning on the lights to full brightness in the entire home, or maybe have them turn on a very annoying light mode, blinking erratically to scare people away. Right? So all of those things combined made us feel that we had a very nice role to play in the home monitoring journey. We also did some additional consumer research, and one of the things that we learned is that people link lighting very closely to feeling safe in their own home. Of the 5 top use cases that they came up with in our questionnaire, they actually listed 3 use cases that are entirely tied to smart lights and smart lights alone. The ability to pretend that someone is home, the turning on the lights whenever an intruder is detected, and turning on the lights automatically when you arrive home. So not only do we have a good match if we look at the journey, but also when we get the feedback from consumers, the role of smart lights in feeling secure at home is very much validated. And so we decided to take the plunge, right? Now, 2 words about SpaceSense before I dive into the new stuff that we're adding. For those that weren't with us in the October event, SpaceSense is a piece of technology that we introduced that actually uses the Wi-Fi signals as received by the lights that you already have in your home to to detect whether or not someone is moving around in any given room. In any room that has at least 2 SpaceSense compatible lights, you can just detect whenever someone comes in, and you can use that to turn on the lights. But clearly, that's also very useful to detect when someone who is not supposed to be there enters the room uninvited. So SpaceSense will play a very big role in what we are presenting here to you today. Now, of course, beyond SpaceSense and the lights that we already have, we talked about that verification step. And for verification, the best thing you can have is a camera. So we introduced a smart indoor camera to our portfolio, and I'm happy to introduce Joe, who will be telling us a little bit more about the indoor camera from Shanghai. Joe, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe, Hardware Global Product Manager at WiZ. I'm responsible for our home monitoring product range, and I'm really proud to present our WiZ indoor camera with you today. So let's get it and unbox this new product. This is how the packaging looks. By removing the sleeve from the side, you can open the box. Inside, you can find a brand new camera. Then remove the insert. Under it, we have the menu, the cable, and the installation hardware. Usually, there's a protective film over the camera that you need to remove before you starting using it. I'm already taking it off for my camera. On the camera front side, we see a lens which provides a 1080 HD resolution, offering a great image quality. The camera is equipped with an IR sensor, which fulfills a couple functions. It is there to detect any movement in the space the camera is installed in. The IR sensor also enables night vision, which means you can still see what's happening in your room even during the dark night. The camera is also equipped with a microphone and a speaker at the back side, which allows for you a two-way audio, so you can have a conversation with someone in your house from your phone. There's also an LED light, which will indicate a specific camera mode by showing different colors. For example, if the camera is in orange mode while streaming or recording, the light will be red. If it is on mode, it will be green. On the side of the camera, you can find the SD card slot. By taking off the cap, you can insert the micro SD card for archiving and reviewing the recording when convenient to you. On the back side, as we mentioned, we find a speaker and the reset button. You can choose to have it placed on the desk or mounted on the wall. You get creative with it. You can also change the camera angle upside down if that fits for your house better. I hope you have fun with our WiZ indoor camera. Now, Danny, handing back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. That was a very good introduction of the camera. I just want to repeat the highlights and the stuff that I think are the key takeaways from Joe's quick, brief introduction. So it's a full HD camera. It has all of the resolution that you need to be able to see all of the details that you would require for this type of application. It has a wide-angle view. We chose to go for a wide-angle lens so that you don't have to mess about with rotating the camera and things like that. It always captures everything that it needs to. It has two-way audio, so you can also use that to help scare away any intruders that aren't supposed to be there. It does motion detection based on the video stream that it receives, and it can also distinguish between people and non-people when movement is detected. On top of that, it also has noise detection. Noise detection can actually be used to pick up on loud noises like windows breaking or those classic smoke detectors that you have that make that loud, annoying beeping noise. If one of those goes off, you can also get notified of that by the camera itself. It also has IR night vision, so you can perfectly see everything in the dark. And it has the SD card slot, so you can safely store all recordings on the SD card without having to use our cloud subscription if you prefer. So that is, of course, everything that relates to hardware, but hardware in and by itself doesn't mean much unless you have a very good software platform to bring all of these things together. And to introduce the way that we've integrated the home monitoring solution in the WiZ app, I'll gladly hand it over to Nick in Hong Kong to talk a little bit about the features that we have added. Nick, over to you.
Thanks, Danny. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicola, and I'm the software product manager for the new home monitoring proposition WiZ is adding to its system. So let's look a little bit into the software features that the WiZ indoor camera unlocks. Besides home monitoring being a very new proposition, we control it via the same WiZ app you have installed on your phone. No need for any new software. So firstly, we need to install our brand new camera. Once powered on, the camera will be in installation mode, ready to be paired, and you just need to tap the plus in the WiZ app V2, follow through the steps, and have it connected to your Wi-Fi network in no time, same as the lights. Once installed, you will see that the camera integrates seamlessly with the rest of the system. You can find the camera as a product in your room. You can still control the lights the same as you did before with a very simple interface. When you tap the camera icon, you access its control page with modes of operation for the camera, a timeline of the past events, as well as the capability to quickly control the lights in the room even while you are streaming. So the camera has three modes. One, to fully respect privacy, similar to being off. And in privacy mode, the camera won't be reacting or recording to anything. The LED indicator is off to signal that. Another mode, which is to allow streaming, you can detect that your camera is streaming if the LED indicator is red. And while streaming, you can view your home in real time, take certain actions, such as take a snapshot, activate two-way audio. The third mode is armed, which is set to detect motion and sound and will automatically trigger a notification to your phone, starts a recording as soon as it's detected. This allows you to immediately open the app, have access to your home, or see what happened afterwards with the recorded clips. You can activate modes manually or schedule them similarly as the lights. The timeline lists all the past events the camera detected, and there is a home timeline also available if you have multiple cameras in the home and you want to have all the info in one place. Something very special that we worked on is called home monitoring routine. And so in the WiZ app V2, after having installed the camera, it allows you to activate a routine when nobody's home using SpaceSense, motion sensors, cameras all together, and being able to trigger a response from the light if any movement is detected. You will find two predefined routines that you can customize. And then by clicking the activate button, you can just activate the routine. Once it's active, your whole home keeps safe while you're away. So if motion is detected, then the camera will start recording, the lights can go into light alarm mode, and you can configure the response the way you want. When you're back home, you can just deactivate the routine through the same button as activation, so that your lights don't react anymore in the alarm mode, but go back to standard automation rules you have. This is a sneak peek into some of the functionalities, and we hope you enjoy them just as much as we do. Thanks. Danny, back to you.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. So that was a very quick introduction. I would recommend everyone to download the application once it's available and play with it for themselves, because there's a lot of cool stuff in there that we don't have time to go over in this type of environment. The one thing I do want to highlight is the presence simulation part. I already hinted at it at the start of the presentation here today, but I do think that that's an extremely powerful tool to keep anything from happening to begin with, right? So pretending that there is someone at home while there is no one at home, we saw is the most popular and most requested use case, and that is what presence simulation is designed to address. So presence simulation is one of them. Of course, we have the light alarm modes where your lights will go into some sort of frantic blinking mode to chase everyone away outside of the home. There is the deep SpaceSense integration, SpaceSense, which as an algorithm has been upgraded to work very well for home monitoring use cases as well. There's the introduction of the monitoring routines, which allow anyone to just with a single tap in the app enable monitoring across their entire home using all of the detection technologies that are supported by WiZ. And there is the event timeline that allows you to look at all of the things that have happened over the past couple of days in your home at your own leisure. So all of these things combined make for a very powerful software proposition. Having said that, there's one more thing that I want to talk about on the product side of things. We are also introducing in a couple of weeks a home monitoring starter kit, which consists of a camera and a couple of lights. With this starter kit, you should be up and running in no time. You can get all of the benefits from SpaceSense. You can get all of the benefits from the camera. And it includes a year's access to all of the features that are normally under subscription as part of the package as well. So look out for that, because it's a very good way for everyone who doesn't have any WiZ lights yet to get started with our home monitoring proposition. On the flip side, if you already have your lights, 80%, 90% of our lights are 100% compatible with SpaceSense, the ones that are installed in homes today. Everything that we sell and that we have been selling since September is SpaceSense enabled as well, so you don't need to buy anything extra, you don't need to replace the lights that you already have. There is one more topic that I want to talk about before handing it back over to Vlada, and that is privacy. It is our motto, it is our mission statement to be privacy aware. As most of you will know, the WiZ app doesn't even require you to log into our application. We don't ask for email addresses, we don't ask for phone numbers, we will never store any of your personal data. So when we add a camera and cloud storage for video materials, we decided to employ end-to-end encryption as well. So that means that even if you use our cloud subscription and store your videos on our servers, there's no way that we can access them, and if we're ever asked to hand them over for whatever reason, then they will also not be accessible to those people as well. And if you don't trust clouds or servers in general, you always have the option to fall back on the SD card slot, which allows you to store everything locally in your home. And to provide an extra protection layer on top of that, the SD card is fully encrypted, as is everything else on the camera. So even if you steal the camera or the SD card slot, thanks to our anti-theft home lock feature, you will not be able to get access to any of the content either. So we're quite proud of the way that we treat privacy for the WiZ platform in general, and specifically for the home monitoring proposition as well. But that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about here today. And with that, I'll gladly hand it back over to Vlada.
Thanks, Danny. Super exciting. The news is out. WiZ is launching home monitoring. And I was actually one of the first ones and the lucky ones to test it. Let's see how that went, and we'll then jump straight into the Q&A. So make sure you submit your questions. So I'm leaving on a short holiday, time during which I'll make full use of the new WiZ home monitoring functionalities. My house is already fully equipped with WiZ lights, and I've also installed the new WiZ indoor camera in WiZ app v2. Now I will open the WiZ app and set the camera into armed mode so that it can detect any movement or sound while I'm away, and I also turn on SpaceSense. I activate the home monitoring routine, which is called vacation, so that the lights behave as if I was home while I'm actually on holiday. So I turn off my lights and off we go. Since I've activated presence simulation, my lights will gradually change between light modes. As I will be away for some time, I asked my friend to entertain my cat in the meantime. The two of them get along really well. As my friend enters my home, both the WiZ indoor camera and the SpaceSense functionality detected motion and reacted to movement by triggering the dynamic light alarm mode, and at the same time, the camera starts recording the event. My friend is of course taken by surprise, while I receive a notification on my phone about something happening at home. I tap the notification and WiZ app takes me to the recording of the event. Now I'll be honest, my friend's reaction is quite hilarious, so I decided to download the movie. I don't want to stress her out any longer, so I deactivate vacation routine, which turns off alarm mode for my lights. Thanks to the two-way communication functionality, I can let her know that there is nothing to worry about. Hey Elizabeth, sorry, my light alarm was off.
Hey, Plata!
Yeah, that kind of took me by surprise.
Yeah, I figured that. Your face was hilarious. I'm gonna post it on Instagram.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Hey, enjoy your holiday.
Thank you, and thanks a lot for cat sitting. Bye-bye. Great. So I've had an amazing experience, and I do hope that you enjoy home monitoring as much as I do on a daily basis. Now, let's jump to the questions. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Vlada.
So we have quite some questions here.
All right.
I'll start with, is it possible to use the home monitoring features without the WiZ indoor camera?
Okay, so at launch, we're starting this with support for the camera. So you need a camera in order to make use of all of the features. Of course, you can always use SpaceSense and the other things for normal home automation use cases, right? But initially, for things like the monitoring routines, you will need the camera. Over time, we will also backport those features to our existing devices so that everyone can make use of them, at least the parts that don't require a camera, without the need to purchase a camera as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Is the home monitoring solution compatible with all the WiZ and connected by WiZ lights?
Yes, so it's fully compatible with our entire ecosystem. That includes the lights sold under the WiZ brand, of course the ones sold as Philips Smart LED devices. Those are also compatible, but also all of the others of other manufacturers that use our platform. Everything and everyone gets the same functionality, so there's no difference there.
A question about hardware. Can the camera be used outdoors?
So this camera is an indoor camera. It's been designed as an indoor camera. Of course, an outdoor camera makes a lot of sense. The only thing I can say at this stage is that this is a start of a brand new part of our portfolio, and more will definitely follow. So maybe over time, that is something that we can provide a dedicated product for as well.
Very exciting. Thank you. A question about the app. So will there be a new app, or will this be included in the existing one? So I assume the home monitoring functionalities.
Yeah. So last year in October, we released App V2. Everything that we've shown here today is fully integrated in the new version of our application. It's one of the reasons why we decided to start with a fresh slate and build the new application as well, because adding all of those functionalities, of course, that takes quite a lot of effort. And so everything is integrated in the same application. Do be mindful that the legacy WiZ application does not support these features. So if you do plan on using our home monitoring platform, that might be a good time to migrate to the new application.
I see. Well, what happens to the recorded footage, and who has access to it?
Only the user has access to it. So if you invite people into your home using the WiZ app, right, you can add extra users to the same home environment. If you give them the role owner, they will have access to the camera and to the recordings as well. If you invite them as guest, will not have access to any of the security features of the platform. They will only see the lights. So that is the part that our customers have under control themselves. Of course, the question might also be about who within WiZ has access to any of that, right? And the answer is no one, very clearly. We decided to go for a solution that uses end-to-end encryption, which means that everything that is ever sent to our servers is fully encrypted. Everything that is stored on our servers is fully encrypted. There's no way that we can get access to that because the key to unencrypt those movie clips is actually stored on the phones of the users that have access to the camera, right? So they are in two completely different locations, and that should make everyone comfortable about the fact that there's no way that we can see what happens in your home when you install one of our cameras.
Privacy is key.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Another one related, so on the same topic. How long are the clips stored?
It depends. So if you don't go for our subscription, the subscription that comes with the service, then the clips are stored for. I have to think twice here. Are stored for 10 days on the SD card or on the server, and then they get automatically deleted after that. If you do decide to go for the subscription, then we keep all files for 30 days, and after that they once again get automatically removed. If you do want to hold on to certain files for longer, we always provide anyone with the option to download files through the system, either from the server or from the SD card, and store them anywhere on your phone that you might like. We just have to, of course, remind users that depending on where you put the camera, you have to be mindful of the privacy laws in your country. You don't want to keep things that you're not allowed to keep, right?
Indeed.
So that is important to know as well.
Thank you. So, routines.
Mm-hmm.
Can I define my own routines?
So right out of the gate, when we launched this, we've added 2 predefined routines that you can customize. That is going to be available at the launch of the app and the camera and so forth. Yes, indeed, over time, the plan is definitely to also add more routines, more predefined routines from our side. Some of them related maybe to monitoring, right? That's why it's called monitoring routines today. But over time, you can also expect more types of routines to come in. And eventually also, of course, for users to be able to build their own routines completely to their liking, fully customizable. So as I mentioned a little while ago, this is definitely the start of things, right? Much more to come as we have the opportunity to continue to develop the roadmap for home monitoring.
Nice. A question about light simulation when I'm away.
Yeah.
Do the products that are already installed update directly with this version, or do you have to update them in addition to the application? And when will this feature be launched?
So at launch, the presence simulation feature is tied to the home monitoring, so you do need a camera in order to unlock the feature, at least initially. As I mentioned before, we will make some of these features, the ones that don't require a camera, available to everyone else as well, once we've had the opportunity to backport them to the existing lights. But then that will be available for everyone. And you won't need to do an update of the app for that or go through any manual updates on the user side.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Will you get person detection without a subscription if you just use the SD card?
Yes. The person detection is a part of the logic that runs on the camera, so there's no cloud resources involved with that, so we are perfectly capable of providing that piece of functionality to our end users without having to charge them extra for that, so everyone can make use of it.
Nice. Does the camera act as a SpaceSense node / device?
That is a very good question. I wonder who asked that, because that is a person that thinks about these things very well. So, no, the camera in and by itself is not a SpaceSense node. That is something that has a lot of technical reasons behind it. The SpaceSense algorithm really is optimized for the type of traffic that our lights would see, right? So the camera is not capable of doing that.
Okay, thank you. There are a couple of questions which I need to address are about the price, or how much is the camera and what does the subscription cost?
Yeah, so we typically don't share prices in these kinds of environments here today. All I can say is that it will be very competitive and very much in line with what you see from similar products on the market.
Yeah, but for that type of information, please reach out to your local Signify contact and you'll get all the information.
Yeah.
So, Let me see. Is the WiZ camera compatible with any other lights from other brands?
One of the things that we're extremely proud of that we've achieved is the tight integration in all of the use cases related to smart lighting and how smart lights can make you feel safe in your home. For us, in order for us to be able to do that, we have certain requirements from the lights, right? So all of this really only works within the WiZ ecosystem. If you bring certain other lights from outside of the WiZ ecosystem together with what we have, then you won't be able to make use of the same features. So if you, for example, were to use, I don't know, Amazon Alexa to bring different brands of lights together, those other lights cannot participate in the home monitoring use cases that we have built here. And that's really down to the fact that we added a lot of stuff to the lights themselves, the firmware that runs on the lights, to enable the functionality and the features that we outlined here today.
I see. Thank you. How about support for the major ecosystems? Is the camera compatible with Matter?
So that's a very good question, actually. Matter does not have formal support for cameras yet at this stage. Of course, we are a very big supporter of Matter, as is demonstrated by the fact that we are probably one of the biggest certifiers of Matter-compatible devices, and we'd like to continue that trend. But since the definition of what a camera is and needs to support in Matter isn't finalized yet, I can't commit to that here today. What I will say is that we are very much following up on all of the things that are happening around cameras in the Matter ecosystem, and we will try to do everything that we can to bring it in once the definition of what it is clear to everyone as well.
Okay. I have one to pick up your brain a bit.
Okay.
What is the advantage compared to other home monitoring solutions?
So I think the main advantage is the tight integration, right? The way that all of these things just seamlessly work together. I'm going to use the example of the home monitoring routines. I don't know if it was clear to everyone from the very quick demonstrations that we did during this session, but basically it ends up being a single press that does a couple of things in a couple of steps, right? So if you tap, for instance, on the, or if you activate the away mode, away from home monitoring routine, then all of your lights will automatically turn off. If it's at night, they will go into presence simulation mode. It will activate SpaceSense if you have the correct lights installed and configured. It will activate the motion detection on the camera and so forth. And it will go into detecting mode. Then once everything is up and running and it actually detects something, whether it's movement, loud noises, SpaceSense in another room, at the same time, all through that single action, all of the lights will react to it as well. So in the default case, they will start blinking very aggressively. And all of that happens without the user having to tie all of these things together. So anyone can do it, right? There's a bunch of things that you can always build together if you're the sort of person that enjoys, linking different ecosystems together and so forth. But we are really trying to make something that can be used by anyone, that is approachable by anyone. So we wanted this to be available under a single icon with a single tap, with a single action in the application. And that's what we achieved. So I think that's one of the major differentiators that we wanted to go for. The other one, of course, is SpaceSense. SpaceSense is unique to our ecosystem. We spent a lot of time refining SpaceSense for the home monitoring use case as well. So it's definitely a unique part of the home monitoring proposition for WiZ, for sure.
Well, I'm sold.
All right, excellent. How many can I sell you?
Let's talk about it after the event. So, where is the server cloud held?
So WiZ keeps all of the servers in Europe, in Ireland, actually, to be specific. So everything is stored in, let's say, a location which has a great deal of consideration for privacy in legislation that supports the privacy. So that was important for us. So that's why we decided to go that way.
Okay, clear. Thank you. So, does the camera work in the dark using infrared?
Yes, the camera has infrared LEDs, so if all of the lights aren't turned off, then it will definitely still record a video in the classic black and white kind of way that you typically have with these kinds of security cameras. The additional thing that you get from WiZ is that if you're on the camera page and you're live streaming, right beneath that, you will have direct access to control all of the smart lights in that room. So even if it's recording at night in the dark and you have it in the sort of black and white night vision mode, all you need to do is tap a single icon underneath the live stream and it will turn all of the lights in the room to full brightness, which brings the camera into full color mode so you can have an extra detailed look at everything that is going on in the room. But the night vision is definitely supported as well.
Nice. Another one. Does the camera support Apple Home, Google Home, and/or Amazon Alexa?
Google Home, Amazon Alexa. It is not compatible with HomeKit.
Okay. On the camera specs, it was said that the camera has a wide viewing angle. What is the spec of the actual viewing angle?
It's 130 degrees on the diagonal. So that it's about, I would say, 15-20% more than typical cameras that you would find.
Okay, thank you. It's quite specific.
That's good, right?
Absolutely. What kind of files are recorded?
So the files are not accessible to anyone. We specifically chose to do it this way. So even if you have it on the SD card, right, you can't take out the SD card and put it in a computer and look at the recordings themselves. The SD card in and by itself is fully encrypted, and that's of course for security and privacy reasons. If someone visits your home, even if you allowed them in, and they happen to take out the SD card to see what happens in your home at any given time, they are not able to access the video recordings. So that's why we provide the download functionality. If you do want to get access to those in an unencrypted way, you can always download them through the app and store them however you like, and then they will be stored in the typical MP4 format that you find for all of these types of devices.
Okay. I think we're running out of time, so let's do a last one.
Okay.
Will you launch globally?
Yes, good question. The camera will be available in North America and Europe plus UK initially at launch. We continue to look at launching other countries as well. It's a little bit more, typically we do launch globally with most of the products that we have. This type of product has some implications in terms of privacy laws. So we are looking at other countries and trying to activate other countries as well as we go. But initially at launch, it's UK, Europe, and US and Canada.
Sounds good. Exciting.
All right, cool.
I think that's it for our questions. And thank you very much, everyone who sent in the questions. In case your question was left untreated, or in case you have more questions, please do reach out to your local Signify contact. I do thank you for being with us today, and see you around.